Uh, Welcome everyone this morning. I'm Greg, as you know. As you know, during COVID, we're limited a lot in what we're able to do in providing services. And as a family, we got together and talked about what sort of options we had available to us. And both at the funeral home and at the veteran cemetery, it was very, very limited in what you're able to do. So it's difficult to figure out how to do what's right. So we decided to create this intimate memorial for my mom, and so this is what we've created. We've been able to pipe in a few other close friends and family through Zoom, so that's what you're seeing here. So anyway, I prepared a few words. This is not my usual forte. I'm also inviting anyone who wants to talk to come up in a few minutes so you can start thinking about that if that's what you choose to do. I think we kind of informally talked about some of the brothers I know want to say something, and if you do, we're not going to like arm wrestle over it. We're just going to make it work. But I want to thank everyone who's here for coming and honoring the life of Jackie Doyle, my mother and the mother of Mike, Steve, John, Ryan, the wife of Jerry. There are some things in life that are ineffable, and I've been thinking about this word ineffable. It means you can't describe it. There's no vocabulary to describe it. And I think that's what's happening here, is that there's really no adequate words to describe a lot of what we're going through. So I'm going to try my best, but there's really no words that can come close. And hopefully I tap into some things that have meaning to you that you find in your heart. Mom was a Christian and a Catholic. So I am going to start. I'm going to have some prayers and some poems in the midst of all this. So we're going to incorporate a little bit of all that in this. So I'm going to start with a brief prayer to start things off. So if you wouldn't mind, please do whatever's comfortable to you. Bow your heads, close your eyes. Lord, we ask that you be here with us and bless this gathering of the family of Jacqueline Evans Williams Doyle, who arrived here on December 9th, 1935, and passed away from this life into your hands on September 11th, 2020, after nearly 85 years on earth, where she enriched each life sitting here today. We ask that you fill our hearts with loving support and guide us as we try to make our way forward in our lives without the physical presence of Jackie. Help us to use this gathering to grow in strengthening our spiritual and our physical journey here on earth. Ecclesiastes says there's a time for everything and a season for every activity under heaven, a time to be born and a time to die, a time to plant and a time to uproot, a time to kill and a time to heal, a time to tear down and a time to build, a time to weep, a time to laugh, a time to mourn, and a time to dance. Amen. So today we'll be doing some of all of those things. But first, I wanted to ask if we could just take a moment and kind of take a deep breath, close your eyes and just be still, and join me in a minute of stillness and hold Jackie in your prayers, thoughts, and your memories, and to calibrate our minds, bodies, and spirits together before we start this memorial celebration of Jackie. If it helps, focus on her photograph beside me, and let's invite her to join us right now in her and Jerry's backyard. So just take a moment of silence. I'm going to read a poem I found when I was looking through thoughts about services, and this one resonated with me. Death is nothing at all, I've only slipped into the next room. I am I, and you are you. Whatever we were to each other, that we are still. Call me by my old familiar name. Speak to me in the easy way you always used. Put no difference in your tone. Wear no forced air of solemnity or sorrow. Laugh as we always laughed at the little jokes we enjoyed together. Play, smile, think of me, pray for me. Let my name be ever the household word that it always was. Let it be spoken without effect, without a trace of shadow in it. Life means all that it has ever meant. It is the same as it ever was. There is unbroken continuity. Why should I be out of mind because I'm out of sight? I am waiting for you for an interval somewhere very near, just around the corner. All is well. Henry Scott Holland. So we're honoring a woman who quietly and gracefully embodied supportive and gentle wisdom for 8.5 decades. As I was thinking about what to say, I thought that, many times people share stories of a person, and I'll do that in a minute, and I invite you to do the same. But Mom wasn't a series of stories, She had this gentle way of just kind of feeling in your heart that felt real, and it still feels real. Conversations were seldom on the surface with my mom. She was one of those rare parents who was able to stay connected and relevant to her boys from childhood all the way into adulthood. I can't think of a time when she wasn't a short call or phone call away that I could reach out to her and talk to her about anything that was bothering me. Most mornings when I drove into work, right after I dropped off the kids, the first things I did was I'd pick up the telephone and I'd call her. And I'd try to get her on the phone before my brothers did, because we're all doing the same thing. It was her soothing, validating, calming presence that I sought out every day as I started my day. In fact, it's the first thing that comes to my mind whenever I think about my mom. She never seemed bothered by me calling, never sounded annoyed, never sounded like she had anything better to do than to stop whatever she was doing and take my call and listen to me drone on about whatever it is in my mind that morning. She was always steady, calm, and fully present for you. Mom would always emphasize the importance of mind over matter, that you could drive what happens to you by being in a state of mind that has a direction and purpose that you control. For example, I went through a series of relationships before meeting my soulmate, Kate, and that's often what we would talk about. Both she and Jerry would always tell me when you meet the right person, it should be easy. It should feel like the most natural thing in the world. I held on to hope that they were right, and they were. Mom was a beautiful soul. Can't look at you guys. Full of gentle wisdom and peaceful gratitude for the best things that life brings. She was an unceasing optimist and saw the best in people and brought out the best in everybody. Think about it. After talking with her, you felt better about yourself, and you were better because of your interactions with her. She attracted the best parts, not only of herself, but of ourselves. Mom liked things uncomplicated and got straight to the point. And her advice was sound. For example, she told me many times, if you don't have something good to say, don't say anything at all. So I was a quiet kid.
That's right.
And her influence and patience helped us see the plain truth in the world and in ourselves. As we go through all the emotions we're going through, remember that we're all fragile souls. Every one of us. Anyone who pretends otherwise is doing exactly that, pretending. Mom was an evener and a gently supportive and kind spirit. So please be kind and gracious with each other and be mindful that each of us is going through our own private mourning for this wonderful lady. It's another prayer a poem that I found. Right here, I'm in a different place. And though we seem apart, I'm closer than I ever was. I'm there inside your heart. I'm with you when you greet each new day. And while the sun shines bright, I'm there to share the sunsets too. I'm with you every night. I'm with you when times are good, to share a laugh or two. And if a tear should start to fall, I'll still be there for you. And when that day arrives that we're no longer apart, that we no longer are apart, I'll smile and hold you close to me forever in my heart. Mom was always focused on her 4 boys, and even as her memory slipped, she'd tell anyone who spoke with her that I have 4 boys, Mike, Steve, John, and Greg. That did not go away ever. And I have many memories I can share, and my brothers will have even more. Some of these maybe will cue you guys in your story, so I'm trying not to step on your toes. But some of mine were, Mom used to sing guitar and play the guitar and then sing. And as we were gathered around her on Thursday night, we were singing a lot of those songs, silly little things like I'm being eaten by a boa constrictor and little boxes. And it was just beautiful as we sit around there. But my first memory of that was I was in kindergarten. My mom came into the class and played guitar and sang songs. And I was like, little kindergarten, I was turning on my friends. That's my mom. Very proud. I was in YMCA Indian Guides when I was little, and I had the Indian name Running Buffalo, and my dad was Standing Buffalo. And I still have the spear that she made. So it's painted orange and it has all these Native American symbols all over it. And I've been moving it from house to house for the last 50 years. And I still have the leather branded vest and everything that she did. She had this artistic streak. I remember hot apple dumplings. And basically it's like apple pie with a full apple with cinnamon and sugar inside. I remember getting in trouble mouthing off the Never Kids. We got a big argument and I screeched down the street and I waited till I was way far away from my friends, right? And then I went, I said some choice words, and then I turned around and my mom was standing right there. So she would wash her mouth out with soap, and I learned never to cuss near her. Halloween costumes, she would dress up every year, her and my dad, and they would wear these crazy outfits. Like one year she was Catwoman and he was Batman, and one year she was a police officer and my dad was a prostitute. Mom sang and performed with a barbershop group called the Sweet Adelines. This was in the 70s, and Carrie did it as well. And so it was, staged a large group of women who sang different barbershop harmonies and wore these great, like Southern Belle dresses that were matched. And they would have these choreographed singing events. And it was obviously a very strong part of her life, because even as her memory declined and she would go talk to some, she said, have you heard of Sweet Adelines? I'm part of that. I sing with them. So these are things that kind of stayed in her memory up until the end. We took a number of cross-country trips with all 6 of us. In 1971, for example, we went across the States and had a breakdown, but I'll let my brothers tell more about that one. And 1976, we did another one with just my mom, dad, and me, where we went all across the country. And in 77, we did it again. We went to Denver for the drum corps competition, came back to here, Laddie died, and my first experience with death. I remember our Alaska trip in 1980, where we went to see Steve in the Air Force Base in Anchorage. And while we were there, President Jimmy Carter, who was the president at that time, came in, and we all got a chance to shake his hand. After we shook his hand, I went, I got him. And then Mom went, shh, don't say that, because of the Secret Service agent. But there was just a few of the memories growing up in a household full of love, energy, and a lot of testosterone. But the focus of her life the last 4 decades has been the love of her life, and her best friend, her husband, Jerry. Jerry and my mom met in 1983 at a Parents Without Partners dance. Mom was 5'8". So his memorable line to her was, take me to your ladder later. Sorry, I messed it. Take me to your ladder, lady. I'll meet your leader later. Mom and Jerry had a special relationship and a way of communicating and laughing together that was unique and infectious. Jerry referred to Mom as his brush bunny, because they were always doing projects He would be chopping things down, and then she'd have to move the brush.
God, she loved him.
Jerry said when she married him, she told him she could only be good in one room in the house, so pick one. Jerry would often joke, we've been together 37 years, but we'll just see how things work out. Mom would always laugh at his jokes, even after hundreds of times listening to them. And even as her memory declined, and she would say that he's my funny honey. Mom was diagnosed with Alzheimer's disease over 4 years ago and began slowly to slip away. Each time we'd see her, it was difficult to watch as her memory slipped further. In the last few weeks, when we knew we were close to passing, I would hold conversations with her while I was walking alone in the nature area near our house in Napa. And it was like I was speaking with her. I could feel her conversing with me. And I said what I was most worried about was whether she was in pain and whether she was scared. I feel like she responded to me and told me that she was okay, that she wasn't scared, and she had a sense of calmness and peacefulness that she hadn't felt before. She also shared that she had chosen this way to go to ease the burden on everybody around her. Something in her grace that I think you'd agree fits her personality. On that same note, we knew she was slipping away in the last few weeks of life, and we let Steve and Mike know because they're, out of state, that it was close and they live far away. And Steve came in last weekend, and Mike and Carrie came in Thursday night as she was fading. And we all gathered around her, held her hands, and said our goodbyes. And we're all convinced that she waited for Mike, so all four of her boys were there with her. We gathered around her, held her hands, said her goodbyes. We told stories. We sang songs. We told her it was okay to go. So imagine this, all four of her boys with their gentle personalities, and Jerry, and we're all like, it's okay to go, Mom, it's okay to go. And she would stir, her eyes would move. And as I reflected on it, I realized what she was trying to say was, I think you should all go away. And that's why I think she waited until very early that next morning to go, when everyone had stepped out of the room and she could be by herself and do it on her terms. Friday evening, the day that Mom passed, Kate and I were laying in bed, and I was just playing songs that just reminded me, made me think of Mom. And I was creating a playlist that I'm playing with you now in a minute, and talking about how much we loved her and how she taught me how to love. And she was my first love, after all. And Kate leaned over to give me a big hug. And as she put her arms around me, her Apple Watch that was on her wrist said, "It's nice to feel appreciated." That was my mom. Yeah. I think it's important to remember when thinking about Mom that she got a promotion. This is good. She was an eternal optimist and believed in heaven, and that's exactly where she is. And that's where she's waiting for us all. In John 14 says, "Do not let your hearts be troubled. You believe in God, believe also in me. My Father's house has many rooms. If that were not so, would I have told you that I'm going there to prepare a place for you? And if I go and prepare a place for you, I will come back and take you to be with me, so that you may also be where I am." So I'm going to yield the podium, and then I'll come back at the end and do a poem and a prayer to end it. So I think Mike's first.
Thank you, Greg. I'll be a little shorter, but give Steve and John a little more time. Over the past several days, and actually a few weeks, I've had a hard time dealing with the fact that I canceled 3 trips this year due to the pandemic and lost valuable time to spend with Mom. I just had a really hard time with that, because I considered all of the time, 3 or 4 days at a time, traveling here over the last few years and even further, to be quality time. even if a lot of it was just spent sitting in the chair right next to her, watching an episode of Heartland that I've seen 6 or 7 times. They were familiar. They were comforting to her. And God bless you, Jerry. They were comforting, and the presence of family and friends was also, and especially her rock, Jerry. God knows how many times you had to watch those same episodes.
Whose idea do you think it was?
Okay. So, but I am forever grateful to all 3 of my brothers for taking the time to keep me in the loop, set up Zoom calls, set up Facebook Messenger video calls, and updates for a long time, not just over the last week or so. So, I mean, at least I could feel a little bit involved in it. And I very much appreciate it. You know, almost everybody has at least one major world event that they remember where they were exactly when that happened. Mom had more than her share. She was old enough to remember Pearl Harbor. She lived nearby when Port Chicago blew up in 1944. In fact, one of the things that, you know, being a young girl herself, she actually thought one thing was funny, not realizing the tragedy that had just happened, is it shook the house so much that her toothbrush fell off into the toilet. She just thought, she remembered saying at the time, she thought that was funny. And just a few months later, President Roosevelt, more than 12 years president, her entire life at the time, died. And that was so traumatic to a nation, especially in the midst of a world war that had been going on for years. Last night, it occurred to me that my memories of Mom go back further than anybody else here, except for maybe on Zoom, including very fleeting memories, and I mean very fleeting, but they're there, of her spending more time in bed or being in bed, and for some reason at the time thinking it was my fault for not picking up my toys that she stepped on. In retrospect, it was, no, I was just being told to pick up my toys, and she was in bed because she was tired because she was pregnant with so I remember 3 pregnancies. So I was about to become a big brother. My first shared memory of one of these major world events was coming home from 3rd grade, November 22nd, 1963. I remember for decades thinking my 3rd grade teacher was a very cold person because she announced it very matter-of-factly and then went on teaching lessons. And as a 8-year-old, it was so traumatic, to me to think that is, how can you not be very emotional? I got that comfort fix when I got home. Mom, I will very, very vividly remember this, sitting in front of our one black and white TV, watching one of our 2 channels that we had, ironing, and tears still just streaming down her face in just total grief. And that was comforting because that seemed like the appropriate reaction and response. Years later, I would learn that, okay, Carrie was a teacher years later, and they were told, don't project. Don't share too much information, don't project anything. And basically, they're ordered to do this. And I felt a little better. And I also realized that not everybody reacts the same way to tragic events, including a death in the family. It's some people hold it in a little better than others, and that's not necessarily the best way. Mom she let it out. She really did. We all know, also, speaking of major events, Mom passed on the 19th anniversary of one that most of us here remember very, very well. What also occurred to me is she passed within minutes of those planes hitting the towers. I mean, it was within the hour. And that just blew my mind. And the number 19 stuck in my head too for a couple other reasons. She was 19 when I was born. 19 years later, she's in Texas for our wedding. And in the 45 years since then, we have a lot of fond memories. But living thousands of miles away for almost that entire time, our visits were less frequent than we'd like. But one memory that sticks out with me a whole lot, though, and this describes how beautiful a woman she was included a pictured rocks boat tour in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan. And our son Ben holding her hand and excitedly as we get ready to go on this boat and referring to her as grandma, and this lady that was also on the tour just gives this look of shock, and she said, "That can't be his grandma." She looked way too young, way too beautiful to be anybody's grandma. Of course, this was our second child, not even our first. So he was just so astonished. Another more recent memory is the four of us holding her horizontally out front for a family photo.
Yeah.
That's one of my favorite pictures.
Twice.
Yeah.
When they were 80.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. I'd forgotten about
30 years apart.
Yeah, we're 30 years apart, but yeah, that was the second one. And more recently, her 80th birthday and weddings gave us additional opportunity to spend time with her and with each other. Memories that we will cherish forever.
Well, I think Michael, thank you for giving me permission on the emotions.
Yeah,
Because,
don't look at the people. Don't look
Yeah.
at the people.
I'm not looking at you all. Okay.
Sorry, it's bad speech.
Yeah. Let's see. I have to find my document here. So it's here somewhere. I'll get started. But I do have a few words. I couldn't let my brothers get up here and say a few words without also sharing a few words. And the fact that I probably won't be able to contain my emotions through most of it, I think that Mike, like I said, Mike just gave me permission. So she was worth it. She was worth it. So come on. Hang on. It was supposed to be open. Okay. All right. Here goes. Well, good morning, everyone. Mom always said, well, first of all, thank you to everyone for in attendance, both in person and on the Zoom call. Mom always said, I'm going to live to be 100. Quite frankly, I believed her. So I just wasn't prepared for this. I'm almost certain I will not get through the next few minutes without tears, but every tear shed for Mom with mine and yours is simply an expression of an abundance of heart emojis in all shapes and sizes. Mom earned every tear, every smile, every hug, and all the love brought by all of you on this occasion. A celebration of her life and a memorial for the lives that she touched. Mom touched every one of us in no small way and exemplified what it means to be a decent, loving person. Without question, she is already and will continue to wrap love around us from heaven above. As many of you know, I came down from Washington State last week. I arrived on Friday, September 4th. I got to spend the last week of her life by her side and by Jerry's side, as Mom's decline accelerated faster than anyone could have predicted. This was without question the hardest week of my life, but also the most important. Between daily caretakers, hospice staff, family coming and going, I know that the continuity I provided for medical care instructions, medications, communication to everyone helped. But most of all, I had the honor of helping Mom prepare to trade in her living angel wings for the heavenly kind. I got to be here for her to help her manage her pain, comfort her tears, and remind her just how special a person she was and how much she is loved. As I shared a few stories about Mom with my son, Adam, yesterday, he commented that, well, he knew and loved his grandma very much. He really didn't know much about her life outside of being his grandma. It occurred to me that many of you who are here today, in person or on the call, may not know much about Mom's/Grandma's life either. Let me just share a few more things, in addition to what Mike shared about Mom, that some of you may not be aware of. As you know, I referred to Mom as a living angel for most of my adult life, and there are many reasons for that. Here are a couple. When suffering through a devastating time in my life when my first marriage ended at 24 years old, while living in Alaska, Mom flew up to be by my side to help me through what at the time was the most emotional trauma I had ever experienced. We spent a week together traveling around Alaska, camping in my truck with a little homemade camper shell, touring and taking in beautiful scenery while mending me with her unconditional love. She brought a little stuffed animal with her, a little bear as I recall, wearing a little railroad engineer uniform. It was a gift from a special man she had met only a week or two before, who happened to be a railroad engineer. For her, it was the beginning of a beautiful relationship with a man who would become her soulmate and her best friend. When going through another, even more devastating time after coming out and not being allowed to see my son and daughter, she spent time with me again and wrapped me in love while living on Whidbey Island in the Washington State San Juan Islands. During struggling times of her own, she visited me while a young adult, and somehow she found comfort in my words and the love that I embraced her with when she was going through difficult situations. Mom took massage classes and earned her certification so that she could support her man with his sore muscles from all that tree climbing. I got to be her guinea pig for training purposes. Although the two middle brothers would, and sometimes still do, squabble, Mom never took sides. She was an emotional rock for me and for all my brothers, always, throughout our lives. I could go on and on and on, but of course, everyone listening now, whether in person or on the call, already knows this about Mom and undoubtedly have their own stories to share. Please do. If not by speaking today, feel free to email or post a favorite memory or two of Mom. Now that she is in a better place and no longer in pain, the rest of us are left with memories. We would love to hear more. Finally, I would just like to say a few words to Mom directly. Mom, I know you heard me when I spoke to you these past few days. Your squeeze as I held your hand, your deliberate blinks as I said something you related to. One of the things I said is that I will continue to talk to you daily, even after you arrive in heaven. You heard me. You squeezed my hand and you blinked. I asked you to show me a sign you could hear when you got there. This morning, Greg finds two beautiful peacocks outside his door. We know that was you, and we know there will be more signs in the days, weeks, and years to come. Although I could not construct a verbal sentence for the past 2 days, just now, the words I wanted to say came flowing out. I know you are here, and I know you can hear not only my words, but the words of others and the sentiment, the love and the sorrow felt by everyone who will miss you immeasurably. The signals that you send help us to heal. We feel you, and we are with you now and forevermore. I love you, Mom. Rest in peace, surrounded in love. Thank you.
Good job. Thank you, Mom. It's okay. I'm good. Well, hello. So thanks for letting me go last. So you know what I mean? Yeah. No, I'll look at it. I've been practicing a little bit. So my first memories of my mom were I lived in Eureka. My parents had moved up there. I was born and raised in Sacramento. I never left except for a brief time when I was little. First memories of my mom had to do with this guy because I remember little things, but mostly noticing that there was an extra quart of milk on the porch.
And I didn't know why, but apparently the milkman knew she had another baby. So there was I guess that equates to you need more food or something. But yeah, so my memories of her started there, and I went to kindergarten. But she also, just little things, like she worked in a candy store with a lady named Alpha. And that was her, she ended up helping, she lived out on a ranch somewhere, and she loved Mom. She took her under her wing. She had like 4 daughters. She drove a bunch of Cadillacs that looked like sharks, because Cadillacs back then, did you ever see them? In the early 60s, they looked like sharks. And her girls just loved me. They doted all over me, and I just loved all the attention until this guy came along. I wasn't so cute, but I remember my mom having friends and working in a candy shop and making bread and just being such a mom, looking back, until she became the working super mom later in life as we got older. But that's just a summary of the type of person her main priority was on us. And just like what Steve alluded to, she was always there. I was not, Mom said, Greg stole this for me perfectly though. She said, you don't have anything good to say, don't say anything at all. And I was the rebel, and I always spoke. I was very outspoken, let's just say. And Greg did benefit from that, because he learned what not to do. And I also have the story of like running home and tattling on the paper boy that pushed me down. And she was furious. And she took me down to his house and said, "You bullying my little boy." And he says, "I'm so sorry, ma'am. He called me an asshole." And she was like, I was flying on her hand. And I remember specifically the taste of the soap. On my teeth. Yeah, she didn't like the swearing. And I also remember another time, like Mike alluded to, because he was talking about the JF Kennedy, in case anybody didn't know, that was JF Kennedy's assassination that she was reacting to. I came home one time at 6 years old, and she was crying, and her grandmother had died. I know she was very, very close to her grandmother, and a lot of what her spiritual beliefs all along have come from her grandmother. She had a special relationship with Jesus, and she was Christian Science, and she was that was just really she was very close with her grandmother, and so. The vulnerability that she had was very honest, and we learned that from her. She was embarrassed to cry. She felt like it was a lack of control. But I'm probably the biggest crybaby, the biggest emotional one out of everyone. I felt like, yeah, I feel like I had an extra close relationship with her, and with the music and the art and the sensitivity. I took her guitar to school with me. I played violin and saxophone and piano, and I got harassed a little bit at school, and she was just the most caring and defensive, and I mean, of me, whatever. Times were a little different in the 60s, I think. I know, and like we were saying, she never varied from her from the way her love for each of us, but we're all clearly very different. And so Mom is a chameleon. I always knew over time who she was talking to on the other end of the phone. It was whether it was Kathy Thompson, our neighbor, whether it was my Aunt Louise, hi Aunt Louise, or whether it was who else did she talk to? Oh, my grandma, or a salesman, someone that she didn't, but you could always tell in the tone of her voice who she was talking to and how she was feeling, because she adapted to everybody that she spoke to, and she came to she got connected in this way that no other. Yeah, by the way, my parents were always blown away when they said I was well behaved in school, because they were saying, "Who are you talking about?" Because not at home. I always felt like I could be myself at home, and I was always close to my mom. I was freaked out whenever I was lost in the store. But hold on a sec. I'm sort of winging it. I've got quite a few notes that I wrote in that room, but I see my mom and my girls. I might have to skip over that one for a minute. Not really. My Whitney showed up just in time to spend these last 2 weeks here. And throughout all this, she's been my rock. I feel my mom through Whitney. On the day she passed, was the day before she passed, Ashley was really feeling bad because she wanted to be here. But she focused on her grandmother, and she had a client she was showing houses to. She was able to successfully complete something very difficult in her business, and she feels like her grandma was with her for sure. And I believe that. I really do. But there's so many qualities about my girls that I see that were as a result of something that might have been passed on from her, and I just see her spirit everywhere. And like Greg said most of the things that I would say too, as far as the phone calls, and always there. And Greg and I we've been local, so we've been close by. So it's just a little bit different. I know it's more difficult for Mike and Steve because they've been far away, but I also know that did make a bit of difference as far as the love, that they have for her and she had for them. But there's just been tons and tons and tons of times prior to her life with Jerry and with her life with Jerry, the Amway days, their 50s and 60s, were thriving years. She was just a happy person, and she was the eternal optimist, like you were saying. So I didn't really have anything totally prepared to say other than she was just my very best friend. Much more needs to be said. No, John, you got it back.
This is family and we're all together, so I just want to invite anyone who feels like they'd like to say something to come and do so, please.
Go for it, Deb. I'll just stay right there. Most of you know me. I'm Jackie's caregiver, and taken care of her about almost 2 years now. And
go up front so they
Come
can
here.
hear you.
They want to hear you.
You know you want to be the center of attention. You can do it.
Yeah, the folks here can't hear you.
Yeah.
That way the people on Zoom can
Yeah.
hear you.
Just don't trip. Don't trip on this. Right here. Just stand right here.
Thank you.
Stand right here, and then look right there. That's right.
okay, most of you know me. I'm Debbie, and I'm Jackie's caregiver. And I've figured myself I'm part of family now because that's all I'm ever told.
You are.
And I got to know Jackie and Jerry on a really personal level. And, I lost my mom 12 years ago. And since then, I've been taking care of people that are either sick or have Alzheimer's or something. But Jackie and I used to talk about a lot of stuff. But the most thing I remember about Jackie is she always made me laugh. She would say things that I would just look at her and wonder where it come from. But it was my pleasure to take care of her and meet you guys and just know that I loved her, and everything that she did I'll never forget because she's just part of my heart now. That's it.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
So I don't know. Just one comment anyway. Alpha Hake is who taught Mom how to bake bread.
Yes.
Yeah. So
Alfalfa.
Yeah.
we-
And I called her Alphabets.
Yep.
Yeah. And, oh no, Elephant. It was Elephant. That's what I called her. Yeah. It was kind of offensive. So. Yeah. Forgot to say that part.
I'll say something because I think somebody needs
Yes,
to
you
represent the
should.
Doyle side.
There you go.
Come on up. Step carefully.
And I'm the chatty Cathy. So let's,
Literally.
okay, I know. So
Your daughter.
I'll do this. I can
Yep.
do this.
Yep.
Yeah.
So when I don't know if you guys know, but when we were younger, my parents divorced, and my dad kind of, after that, was sort of wandering, I think is a good word for it, was kind of trying to figure out, you know, what he wanted to do, where he wanted to be, and struggle with that. And he ended up a lot of places. He married a woman who had four sons, and that didn't work out so great. And that was good because we didn't like them very much. So it was fun.
It wasn't us.
It wasn't you guys. Now you these guys. No, this was another set of four sons.
So he didn't learn his lesson. Yeah, didn't learn his lesson, so he had to do it again.
So then he was in a lot of places, even Suriname, South America. He was all over the place. And so by the time he landed in Sacramento, we didn't have a lot of confidence he was going to stay long. We were kind of like, okay, we'll see. And then by some miracle, he goes to a dance and meets this woman, Jacqueline. And that was a miracle because that man does not dance, right? So that was pretty crazy in itself. He goes to a dance, he meets her, and he had been dating some other women, and we were just like, oh, okay. And then he met her, and he begins to tell us about this wonderful lady he met who has 4 sons. And we're like, wait, what? Okay. But I guess what I wanted to say is that, you know, we all know how wonderful Jackie was, but I don't think people know what a gift she gave us, because she made our dad so happy. And after he met her, he found home, finally. No more wandering, and gave us the gift of reconnecting with our dad, which was pretty amazing. And then we got the gift of 4 stepbrothers we liked. Yay! And that was wonderful. So she gave us the gift of that. She gave us the gift of a extended family. She gave us the gift of friendship, because by then we were all a little older too. So she didn't really have to, you know, try to bond with us. But what she did was just slowly befriend us. And that was wonderful. So we became, I think, good friends at first, you know, and then I can remember coming up here and, you know, I didn't like the Tool tour so much, but I loved talking with Jackie. I could sit and talk with her for hours, and Colleen and I especially would sit and talk with Jackie for hours, and we enjoyed it so much, and we just loved her company, and of course we grew to love her. And then these last few months, it was a miracle that I was able to move up here and be closer to help Dad and help her and be by her side and help as much as I could, because I was grateful to give back a little bit to her, what she gave to us. So
We're grateful for you.
Thank you, Captain. Thank you so
Absolutely.
much.
Of course, on the flip side of that too is it gave Jerry somebody that might appreciate a little bit of the Tool tour.
yeah, Ron.
Yeah. Yeah, Ron. Yeah.
Ron and I
Ron
did.
likes the Tool.
Same here.
She keeps telling me I got to get rid of some of this stuff. No, I don't. Because why not? Because when I die, you do. Thanks a lot, Jordan.
Someone else?
He's going to open a rental yard
Kate's
when I
coming up.
leave.
Oh, Kate's coming up.
Awesome.
So I'm Jackie's daughter-in-law, Kate, and I was leery when I met Jackie because it was not my first mother-in-law rodeo. And from the minute I met her, it was everything you're hearing: unconditional love, friendship, support. I could talk to her for hours. But what really stands out to me as I'm listening to everybody talk is, in the last couple of years, as she lost her memory, we had the same conversation over and over again. Every time I saw her when we were alone, we'd sit and she would say, I sure am glad Greg found you. And I would say, isn't he wonderful? And she would say, oh yes, he is. And then we'd have that conversation again until someone came into the room. That's my memory of Jackie, is even when everything was going in terms of her memory, the connection that we had was distilled down to the main point, which was we both loved her son so much.
Thank you, Kate.
It's free space up here.
Zachary.
So, as many of you know, I was the last of the grandchildren. And being the last of the grandchildren meant that, you know, as she started to go, I was one of the first ones to go as well. And so I got to re-meet Jackie 5-6 times, and the generosity and kindness and just humanness of her never changed each time. I'd come home, my hair would be long or blonde or tied up in a ponytail or what have you, and she wouldn't have any idea who I was if I was painting her awning or if I was just seeing her at dinner or something, and she wouldn't really know, but she'd always just, she knew I belonged to you somehow, and so she just kind of, I don't know, sensed it and treated me so kindly, and it's something that I'm never really gonna, you know, forget about her. And it's weird because, you know, as I am also in Washington, it's, you know, there's kind of this denial almost a little bit that it's even real, and it's just,
Yeah.
I don't know, it's just weird.
Yeah.
But it's always glad, I was always glad knowing that no matter what, if I did come home, which, you know, when I did do it, she never would make it known, like, who is this person? She would just welcome me and give me a big hug. And I have another little tidbit. I don't know if a lot of people know, but she actually went to private school like my sister and I.
Yeah.
And she, one time back at El Nido, the old home, she told me stories about what it was like going there, because it was, I believe, a boarding school or something. And she, like my sister and I, was a child going to religious school. And so sometimes you try to get out of going to church, or, you know, you hide up in the closet because they come looking for you or something like that. And it was just the side of her I'd never seen before as like the scrappy fun kid, you know. She was always my grandma. And I don't know, the more I hear about how nice and how much she touched every one of you, the more I kind of start to see that. And, you know, my dad and his brothers, and definitely my sister and I, and I don't know, I just appreciate all of you.
Thank you.
So, like,
Thank you, Zach. Anyone else? Okay, I'm gonna call.
Were you going to figure out a way to invite
Yeah,
people
yeah.
on Zoom? I don't know how to do that.
Does anybody on here want to say anything?
If you give me a thumbs up.
someone's raising their hand.
Who? Who is it?
Anybody just raise your hand up there on the Zoom call.
Is that
Anybody
Ron?
say-
Who is that?
I got Whitney.
Whitney.
Oh, wait, you want to say something? Okay. Okay, so I'll mute it here and then unmute it there, right? Okay. So if I mute it, let me mute it.
Wait, he'll tell you when he has everybody muted.
Oh, gotcha. I don't want to see this really big.
Well, they're doing something right now. I don't know what's happening.
I'm probably flipping it around so I could see everyone out there.
Okay, now just
Well,
close
we're
it.
muted here. She can't hear
There you
us.
go.
I can hear you.
There. Oh, yeah.
We
we
got
can hear
you. We got you.
There you go.
Hi, everyone.
Hi, Whit.
I'm really sad that dang it, I'm not even there. I'm sad that I was able to spend all that time there and be there and then not be there for this. It sucks, but I am so happy that my trip turned out the way that it did, even throughout all the stuff that happened. I don't know if anyone knows this, but for a little while, I was cutting grandma's hair.
So there was some really good one-on-one time that I got with her that I'll never forget, because I got to hear so many stories from her perspective and just how awesome of a person she was, and her sense of humor. I think being grandkids, and especially on the younger end of the grandkids, sometimes you didn't get to hear a lot of her because she was always just sitting and listening and watching. And so actually getting that time to just have me and her, it was amazing. And I do feel like I am so much like her after getting to know her. And just being there for those 2 weeks and talking to, Kate and Kathy, and getting one-on-one time with all of you guys that were out there as well. Courtney too. Like, sometimes you don't realize when you don't talk to somebody one-on-one, you don't get to know them that well. And I'm just very grateful that I did. And I love you all. And yep, Ash wants to say something now too. Oh, there's Trevor. Hi, everybody. I just wanted to say hi. I love you all. I'm sorry I'm not there. And Grandpa, I love you. And thank you so much for all you've done for Grandma. But Grandma is so special to me. I just wanted to have just so many good memories with Grandma. And I miss her phone calls. And over the last couple of years, obviously, we haven't had our phone calls like we normally do. But every time I saw her, I felt her love. I knew she might not have remembered my name, but I felt her love and her hug. She knew me in her heart. And she was such an amazing grandma, amazing woman. And I'm so thankful for her. And I will miss her very much. And I just wanted to say that. I love you all. That's it. Bye from Tennessee. Yeah. Love you guys. Love you all.
Raised his hand.
And then. Is that Ron?
Yeah, that's Aunt Dorothy right there. Hi, you guys are live. Hi, Aunt Dorothy. Great to see you. Guys, can you say something, Ron, so we can hear you? See if we can hear you.
They are muted. They're muted. They need to unmute.
Oh, you guys need to unmute yourselves. Ron?
There.
Okay. Talk.
Hello.
There you are. We got you. We got you. Hi. Go ahead.
Dorothy. We're here. We're listening.
You're up.
That's that Dorothy.
Did you want to say something? I saw your thumb go up. I thought you wanted to talk.
Oh, I'm sorry. No, I'm just adjusting things here.
Okay.
Sorry.
While he's adjusting, Aunt Dorothy, it's awesome to see you. It's really good to see you. You look beautiful. I think we can hear sounds, but we can't hear voices. So I'm thinking.
Yeah. Oh, the irony of me playing techie today, trying to get her online here is.
Oh, we can see her. And we can see part of you.
Yeah. Did you guys want?
All you have to do is talk.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not a techie yet.
No, you're good. You're all set.
Yeah.
I think that they have no. Yeah, I was confused. They don't want to say anybody else.
Okay. Who else?
So, okay. So you good?
Anyone else?
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Who else? Anyone? Raise your hand if you want to say something on the Zoom call. Okay. I guess we're good. I guess we're good. Greg,
Anyone else from here?
anyone here? Back up, Greg.
Well, I'll just say, I don't know, I can do the other thing I was going to do. I'll just say, I do want to just kind of, am I speaking?
Mute that one.
Yeah.
Okay, go.
On the left. There it is. Okay, go, Greg.
In kind of wrapping things up, I want to echo some of what was said. Is the level of support and love and caring that Jerry you gave to our mother is beyond compare. And Jerry would always say, "What can I do for you?" And I said, "You're doing it. You were taking such good, loving care of our mother. There's nothing greater that you could possibly do."
You can, yeah.
And we love you. We appreciate you very, very much. And I know this is really, really fucking hard for you.
Yeah.
And
Jam allergies, man. Yeah.
We, I feel very thankful for both you and Mom and your influence in my life and all of our
I
lives.
can hear the chickens louder than you.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I know it's hard, Greg. Oh, Greg is closer.
So, that's okay.
That's okay. I just want to hear them.
There you go. So I just wanted to thank everybody for taking the time to come here. We have, for those of you who are not on the phone, we have food, and we have some of the neighbors that are going to be coming over in a little bit. And, you know, there's nothing we could possibly do that would feel that it filled the need that we feel to honor my mom, Jackie Doyle. This is the best we could do. Maybe someday when COVID's passed, we can do something on an anniversary or something at the cemetery. She will be interred at the Sacramento Valley Veterans Cemetery in Dixon, and so we'll communicate on Facebook or wherever we can on what happens there. I'm glad we were able to pull something together pretty quickly, but I appreciate all of you and thank you all for being part of our lives. And one last chance if anybody has something to say. Okay. So thank you all very much. And I guess I'll just end it there unless someone wants to sing a song or I don't know.
Get your music going again.
I'm being eaten by a boa.
Yeah. I do think you all have
All right,
done.
thank you.
You don't want to.
Ron, are you raising your hand?
No, he wasn't.
Or no?
Oh,
He's fiddling with
just-
the
yeah,
music.
just-
Okay, you just fiddle.
Keep them on there and turn on the music. Yeah. I want
Okay.
the music.
All right. I'm done.
We'll just
Good
get
turn
to
music now.
some more
Okay.
too, and then I'll.
All right. What are we doing? This light
Just leave it on and then
Yeah, we're
still
gonna leave
have
this
music.
on.
And to talk, we can talk. People can come up and talk, right? If they want, I mean, I'm saying after we're done. I mean, they can stay on and watch us mingle.
Right, but right now we're gonna put on the
Music.
slide and music.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Huh.
Yeah, right now we're gonna have some pics floating by with some music in the background. So feel free to stay on.
Okay.
Yeah. Just yeah.
As you were.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Actually, I want to jump in.
Oh, wait a
Oh,
minute.
look, Adam's gonna say something.
We have a last minute one here.
Wait, all the tears are gone, huh?
Yeah. I don't like to talk in front of people, so it's hard for me to
My
get
son.
there
Yeah.
and talk. But you know, I did mention to my dad yesterday, you know, as a grandchild, you know, one of the things you don't see is that life before you exist, right? So you don't know, you know, the depth of the character. You just know the ever presence, like love and generosity and everything that's there as you're growing up. But you don't know the stories. You don't know what created that character, right? And so I just wanted to take the time to say thank you to all of you guys who shared the stories, who showed the depth, who have elaborated more on the character that Grandma was, because it, creates a fuller picture. And, like, I knew her, but I just didn't know the depth, so, yeah, thank you guys.
Thank you. Thanks, brother.
All right. So let's have this light go up here.
I'd like to eat some of Carrie's food now.
Me too.
Come get it out.
I'll just trade them up.
Musical dancing chairs.
I could just bring you with me, huh? Let's bring this whole thing with me.
Hey, John, where's your brother Mike?
Okay, don't.
We haven't seen Mike. We heard him.
Hello. Hi. So actually, yeah, hi. That's what I was gonna say. Totally.
No, you're
Actually made everybody cry. Yes, you did. Hi, everybody. Say hi.
Hi.
I'm just gonna take this around me. And
G. G.
hey, someone's calling you, G. Who is that? Who's
Whitney.
calling G? Oh, it's G. It's Whitney.
Hi, G.
Hi.
Hi. Just
Let's go,
say
Valerie.
hi. You all want to say hi?
There we go.
Oh my God, yeah, I miss you already.
So, I meant to say you too when I was talking. I meant to mention you.
Oh, it's okay.
We got to spend lots of
Thank
time
you.
together. Charlie today in the bath was like, I miss my Papa and G so much.
Oh, I could hear him. I could hear him going, I don't want to. So, what was he talking? I saw Todd taking him back.
Whatever the kids are doing, whatever they're doing up.
Actually,
Yeah.
Ash, you made everybody cry over here on your speech.
Yeah.
I don't even know what I said. I just complained.
I know.
And
You're
then,
just
like, I heard
me.
Charlie, and then I forgot where I was going. I was like,
My brothers had actual written speech they read from. Well, not Greg.
I was
Greg
going to ask
good.
you if you had something.
I had some
prepared
notes. I had notes, but I knew Greg was going to paste
good.
it.
We're,
oh, good.
we're
yeah.
glad that we got to be there for it. So thank you for setting all this up.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean, just do what we can do. I said what? I couldn't stay on topic. You're right. You got me busted there. Son.
No, Trevor said he's not wearing pants.
Oh, hi,
Trevor's not wearing pants. Where is he? Oh, yeah. Oh, there's Linda. Trevor. Trevor says he's not wearing pants, so you can't stand up.
Do I have to take mine off too to talk to you?
Hope not. Yeah.
We love you, Grandpa. Love you.
Love you too.
So this is kind of
Thank
cool,
you.
huh?
Thank you for coming
Where's Jerry? Where's Jerry?
Virtually.
on air.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see
The
where.
reason I didn't talk is because I'm full of hot air.
Yeah. He's got allergy problems too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and allergies.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I would have.
And it's the
It's
smoke.
the
I
same.
couldn't have handled
terrible.
that.
It's not. Yeah, it's still pretty bad. It's not. We're not breathing it right down here.
As long as you don't inhale, it's okay.
Yeah, that's what we've heard that before. Yeah.
You got some pretty good food.
Yeah. It's bad you can't.
Hop out of there and come and get some.
Oh yeah, that other camera's on over there too, huh? But this is actually the portable one. Yeah, I wish. They got them all right here too still.
Hi, Debbie.
Yeah.
Hi, how are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm
Actually,
good. Good to see you.
Thank you.
I'll see you again. I'm soon.
This is my Aunt Louise.
This is Ashley.
Hi,
That's
Matt.
Ashley. Oh, that's my. Oh, you never met Ashley?
No, I haven't.
No, I haven't.
She,
I've
why
seen
did
you,
she
but
kept
I was
calling
her
me
care.
Ashley though?
I was her caregiver.
Yeah.
thought about you, and I appreciate you so
Yeah.
much.
We talked about you all the time. So
Thank you. She used
absolutely.
to always say, "Where's Jerry? Where's Jerry?
Oh yeah.
Where's Jerry?"
Yeah.
All day long.
You know, when I start digging through videos and stuff, all of it's before the memory days, and that's what's difficult.
yeah.
Is looking at that
We
stuff.
had a lot of fun, Jackie and I. We did cookies together and we danced together. We always walked together, and that was before her Alzheimer's got too bad to where we could carry on a good conversation, you know. And but she was awesome lady.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I'm
Yep.
so happy she had you.
Yeah. No kidding.
I guess I'm not going anywhere, they say.
And this is Jen, which is Mike's youngest child, and then that's Mike's granddaughter.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And this is my Aunt Louise.
Hi, Louise. Nice to meet you.
Dorothy over here.
And that's my Aunt
Okay.
Dorothy.
And
Yeah.
who's this?
This is Ron and
Okay.
Aunt Dorothy, and he's being so good with your mask,
Oh,
being
yeah.
around Mom.
You see how we're
Yeah.
social distancing here?
So Aunt Dorothy is my dad's brother's wife. He passed away 30 years ago, huh?
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
and then 93, and then my Aunt Louise,
And where is
my
your
uncle
dad in
just
here?
he was here. He
I saw
checked
him
out.
earlier,
I think it's really hard. This is
It had to
difficult
be
for
hard
him.
for him.
Oh
It's
yeah.
hard
for him.
Oh
That was
yeah.
over 30
Because he's
yeah.
got to like. Yeah.
26.
That's extra
Well,
sadness
you know,
right
you
there.
don't never get rid of feelings in your heart.
No,
for somebody,
no. It's
ever.
mom of his mother of his kids, and
Yeah.
obviously, like I said, my mom. I could always tell who was talking on the phone to Aunt Louise or his mother, or you know what I mean.
Yeah.
You could always tell. But Mom and Aunt Louise were buddies, though.
Awesome.
And same with Aunt Dorothy. There, it's just I haven't talked to her in a long time. Miss
Wow.
you.
Nice meeting all of you.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, they're still out there. Oh yeah, there's another camera out there on them. All those people, you can see the top of their heads. Who's smooching? It's Zach. It's Zach and his girlfriend. I'm gonna go in the house and see what kind of food. You want to see their food?
Are you allergic to nuts?
Want to say hi to everybody?
I just like hanging around them.
Everybody's a few people that are still here. Yeah. So.
Everything looks so yummy. You got
We
special
brought our
food?
lunch. Oh, you did.
Special
Thank you.
meeting, huh?
Yeah.
Nobody saw me do this, right?
No. You guys. Nobody realizes that they're on camera over there.
Oh.
They still are. Still have it on.
Are they still on?
Well, a couple people. I got Whit is on here. Jen's on
Hi,
here.
Greg.
Aunt Ruth is on here.
Hi, Courtney.
Has Ashley met Sid?
I like your headband.
Can you hear the music?
I feel it. Yep.
We just
You feeling it?
where she went.
I thought I just saw her. Oh.
Baby.
Oh, there she is. Yeah. So you got to meet Courtney's other. Dude, my girls. Yeah.
For the
So
camera?
this is my daughter Ashley and Whitney, of course you know.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
Ashley.
And this is my niece Jen, and that's my Aunt Louise. It's actually my Aunt Dorothy. I haven't seen in many years. Yeah.
Hi, everybody.
And two of these are me. So those are the
Oh, that's Megan.
yeah. They don't know they're on camera, but they are.
Bye.
Yeah. We got a little spread going over here. Of food. What's over there? Yeah. I don't want to drop my iPad in the pool.
Well, hey, Dad, I think we're
Good to go? Okay. Yeah.
We got kid crazy happening right now.
No worries. Yeah, I see our spread though. Yeah. Looks pretty cool, huh?
And we
Anyway,
got
yeah.
crack pot.
All right.
You did
You
good.
You guys did so well. Everything looks so great. I'm glad you guys were able to pull it together so quick.
Something.
It's really good, Dad.
It still feels so odd, but
I know.
say goodbye. They're gonna
Hi,
leave.
Justin.
Hi. Yeah. So.
Uncle Steve. Did I already say hi? I don't know. Here's Trevor.
Here I am.
Yeah, I'm
Hey
gonna
there.
see them in
So glad you guys were on.
11 days. Yes, I'll be over there in 11 days. So,
Yeah.
You checking your stocks?
did I check my stocks? With the EXP?
Babe, stop with your Grandpa Jerry jokes. Trevor, we decided that Trevor was Grandpa Jerry.
Oh, gotcha. He's next in line, huh?
They could probably barely hear. Okay. We love you guys.
What? Ask a
Wow.
question?
No, Amber was trying to get on it. She got a link saying she was the only one there. So I think Did you record this, by the way?
I did.
Okay.
It's still being recorded.
So it is still being recorded.
Yep.
Okay, well, I'm going to see if I can get Amber on real quick so she can say hi to everyone.
Oh, okay. Well,
to those who are staying on.
Oh, okay. That's fine.
All right. It's Jackie Doyle Legacy, right?
Yeah.
BIT.ly.
You should have a text. Do I have Amber's phone number?
I don't know.
We're gonna pop off.
Bye. Thank you, guys.
I love you.
We'll share the
Love you.
recording with her then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay.
Bye, guys.
You're leaving the session on now?
I can. Yeah, I can leave it on. So she could just dial into. Does she have the email though?
Are the folks on the call able to see the slideshow?
No.
Because we go back 10 generations and then come forward 4 on their genealogy and ours. Go back 10 generations, come back 4 to get the Ebenezer Williams book.
That's interesting. Yeah, that's another easy
now they
too.
do.
We get a lot of the pairs.
Yeah. So that's so whether you like them or not, we're related.
Yeah.
We share ancestors.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen the TV show Henry Louis Gates is Finding Your Roots?
I've heard of it.
Okay, on PBS. He did one with trying to think of which one of the characters it was, but
Gosh, Jerry hasn't aged a day.
dang, my mind has been so fried from something else.
We got a lot of
Maybe on your plate.
memorize everything type stuff. People in our family.
Well, I don't have it all memorized, but
I do that with like
but
movies.
it was one in particular, famous actor. A famous actor, and he points out that an actor he's played in lots of parts with. I'm trying. My mind is.
You got a
right on
movie
the
he's
tip
in?
of my- Right on the tip of my tongue. Not an old actor. I mean, a relatively young one anyway. My mind's just gone blank on it. But anyway, he points out that hey, this other guy that you played all these parts with and everything, said you have a common ancestors 14 generations ago. William Knowlton. You familiar with the name Knowlton?
That is familiar. Yes.
Yeah. Virtually every Knowlton in this country is descended from William Knowlton.
That's interesting.
Okay, and your grandpa got that name because our ancestors were Knowltons.
That's really
So,
interesting.
I want to say Brad Pitt, but I'm not absolutely sure.
I was thinking Brad Pitt, and I'm like, nah.
Could be.
That would be too easy.
Yeah, and who does he started with several times?
Now that I have something, I can get you there. Leonardo DiCaprio. He's been in some Tarantino movies. He was with Edward Norton. He was in Troy. I don't remember what the main guy is, but there's Morgan Freeman, Kate Winslet.
Two guys.
Two guys, yeah. When that's loading.
What's
Let's see.
What's the movie where one of them played the Angel of Death and the other one played some?
Meeting Joe Black.
No.
No?
Nope, that's not it.
Oh.
No. I mean, this is.
Snatch, Legends of the Fall, World War Z, Thelma and Louise, Mr. Smith, 12 Monkeys, Tell Me When You Hear It, Interview with the Vampire, 12 Years a Slave, Fury, A River Runs Through It, Burn After Reading, The Assassination of Jesse James, The Tree of Life, The Big Short, Babel, Allied, Oceans 12, 11, and 13, 7 Years in Tibet, True Romance, By the Sea, Killing Them Softly, The Mexican, War Machine, California, with a K, Sleepers, Spy Game, The Devil's Own, Megamind. We're talking about genealogy stuff. Cool World,
Famous
Counselor.
Couple of them.
This is Brad Pitt. The Departed.
I'm thinking
Departed
Brad Pitt
had a
was one of them.
lot.
Huh?
The Departed had a lot of
It
people.
might not have been him. So one movie I'm thinking of is where one of the two characters have played, friends, and they've actors that have been in the same movie a few times, and I can't think of their names for sure. I think one of them might have been Brad Pitt.
Angel of Death character somewhere in there.
Yeah, one of them played the Angel of Death character. No, it's not the name.
It's a concept. It's a biblical thing.
It's a part.
Yeah.
It's a. And my mind has just gone blank.
It'll come to you in like a week. You know what I mean? Sitting out of nowhere. That's good. Okay.
Are you hungry?
Yeah, I'm a little hungry.
Do you want to grab some food?
Hang on a second.
Oh, okay.
You were talking up there. You said I was the last of the grandchildren and the first to go.
Yeah.
It took me a second to realize what that meant. That's rough.
Yeah. Cause like, you know, as soon as I came back from college, that was it. Never again really did she was like, oh hey Zach. It was just this kid with long hair that she knew somehow.
Yeah. Well, the first, I mean, because it was like complete denial up until 2 years ago, right?
Yeah.
When I was moving out of Texas, and we stopped in for her birthday.
Yeah,
that was the same. That was the same day.
It was the same day.
Same day.
Okay.
That's.
I mean, like I sat down next to her, and I was hoping to have that same.
And I actually heard you say that she doesn't remember who I am anymore, and it's yeah. Yeah. It's yeah.
Yeah.
The only consolation I had at the time was hearing that you said that. Actually, I think about that a fair amount. It's like wasn't alone, you know.
Yes. Like she turned to me, she's like,
hi.
So sweet. Hi, who are you here with?
Yeah.
I was like, oh, Steve, my dad. Yeah. Oh, he's a nice man.
He has such good friends.
Yeah.
Yeah. My dad came up behind me and said, "This is Zach,"
article
and I was like,
people who are cousins and you wouldn't think that they would be.
but she never judge you for how you look. You come back, pierced up, tatted up, hair's all different. She's just, hi.
Yeah.
She didn't like this, but she didn't say that recently in recent years. But she never liked the goatee.
That's funny.
Yeah, and then the last time we saw her was
That's my
wedding.
trip to Alaska, right there with her.
Yeah.
That's my trip to Alaska.
That might have been the last time I saw her too. But that's why, I painted the awnings out here, and I tried to find reasons to be over here that I could tell other people, friends, family, like I gotta go help these people, my grandma out, because
Oh, I'm sorry, Matt Damon and Ben Affleck.
That was my next guess. Was Matt Damon.
Okay.
What's that about?
Finding Your Roots pointed out that they're cousins who have a shared ancestor named William Knowlton.
Oh,
that's interesting.
We're cousins.
Right.
We're cousins with Matt Damon and Ben Affleck.
Yeah.
I want my Goodwill Hunting residuals.
I have
Thank
a
you. Many money,
signed
please.
picture from Matt Damon, actually. I have his
That's
signature.
funny.
It's authenticated, too.
He's a cousin.
It's cool. You can email him.
Hey, cuz.
Hey. Like, go to Mary and be like, hey, we're cousins now. He'll be like, who are you?
Yeah. So yeah, like I said, it doesn't quite sound right, but the same general sort of type of communities. But so Ben Affleck and
Who what?
but yeah, I just remember they just happen to have that thing on. You guys have a shared ancestry.
Edward Norton, Knowlton, and you're like,
William Knowlton.
Whoa! I know that guy.
Yeah, that's.
This was.
Look at you.
Yeah. Well, I was going to point out that was like the first family event that I was mentally present for as a child was Ben and Tiffany's wedding. It was the first time I was like, I remember things. What's going on, everybody?
Yeah. Jenny was. Your sister said it just right because Jenny was just
two of the major branches of that tree fell.
Yeah. Court was so interested in her because she was a teenager and had all these things that she was interested in, and Jenny was just finally Court just recognizes, and she says, "You're mean." I remember that so vividly. I said, "Good for her," because Jenny was being mean.
That's so funny because I was just a little boy. I was just tagging along anyone that would let me.
I mean, she was in those teenage years, where you feel angsty. Oh God, there's a kid hanging over my shoulder all the time,
My sister watching,
and she just
now, but scared some shit out of me.
it bugged her.
That's
and she was not
But you're about
Courtney was, I mean, she was hanging over everything that she did. I mean, it's just like, oh, this cousin walks on water.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, I just remember that so well. She just, you're mean. I just thought, good for you.
Did you happen to catch that big piano? John G and I, just the three of us, lifted it to put it on its legs.
Wow.
It was scary.
It's a big piano.
It's a big piano. It's a grand piano. So they had one end on like a table, and both of the jack dudes were holding it. I'm like, okay, I'll twist it in there. Please don't die. This thing weighs like easily 800 pounds.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. That's no, we only do the standard.
I'm just letting go. I mean, I might trim it up.
Yeah.
I like long hair. Well,
I forgot that the stress has.
my mom wasn't there, so I wonder why they're including these pics. My 60th.
Yeah.
Oh, Courtney.
It's on my YouTube. Did Amber ever sign on?
She couldn't get on. I just sent her a text.
That's Amber right there.
Oh,
She's
she's
right
on there?
there.
Oh, Amber's on there. Hi, honey.
Are you on there? Are you there, Amber?
Might have to unmute her.
Oh, she's
I don't think that one's muted.
oh, she's not showing herself, but she's on, huh? Hi, Amber. Hi, honey. Where's the music?
It's over there.
Oh.
Is the volume up on this? Hold on. Maybe that's.
We're just talking to everybody.
You were?
Oh, who's also just showing?
Oh, Ron just connected. Oh, Amber's gone now?
Mm-hmm.